Hello and welcome back to my channel at YouTube. This is Jim at Masulu.com. What we're doing, I decided we're only going to do 4 videos. I think that we pretty much covered it. And this last video is actually the important one, the one probably a lot of people are thinking about. What we do here is we're going to fill out this form. And after I put, you see this information is absolutely nothing worthwhile. We just click the send. And now what happens before we click the send, or when we click the send, is it's sent to a page that I named form response. It does not have to be named that. That's your choice. No big deal. This is the form response page. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I'm going to take that out in a minute here when we don't need it anymore. This is the session that we set up. It is identical to the session in this one, except I took out all the green stuff, the things that have already been blocked out, just so you know. And this is what you're left with. This gives you a chance for a connection with your database, with your server, excuse me. The things that we're entering into this are the fname, email, and MSSTA. I named it that because of basically I wanted it to it'd be different than username or email without an extra L. The problem is sometimes those will basically interfere with one another. So I don't know if you know it, but when you download information off the internet to put into, let's say for instance here, as you notice here, I did not change any of these. I just simply downloaded the rows. Well, here's the name of my row. Now normally I would put those into something like this, and it is how I'd recommend you do it. And this will say anything you want. I don't necessarily recommend you put this in anything, but it would look something like this. And let's see, and we would want it to go look just like that. That takes this information from this row and puts it into this variable. Now if I change this to this, it would still function exactly the same way. But you don't have to. If I only have, in this particular one, I only have 3 different variables, I can go without making individual entries here. Hang on. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to block that and say, in a small world, you can skip this part. Now, if you're doing something big and a lot of the variables have really closely named identities, then you don't want to do that. You want to assign it to individual variables that will be different. I'll leave that in there. That's a good one. So we'll keep that in mind. Then we're going to go with the form response. So we're going to do the fname, email with an extra L, and mesta, which is in our form exactly what these are named. These are this one. And you can see I do not only an ID, but I also do the name, the physical name. Same thing here. The type is an email. And what that does is that's what gives you it has to look for the @ symbol. Otherwise, if I were to do this as nothing more than an input and say type is text, you'd put whatever you want in there. So, and later, maybe I could make a 5th video. We'll see how you guys feel about it, but show you some of the limiters, the things that hold things in place so they don't act up. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So, without further ado, anyways, here's the text area, and this is the message TA, which is text area. So same thing. If you want to talk to it, you're gonna have to use that. So the placeholder, and you know what this is. This is where it says, hey, this is where your message goes. Just like these other ones have their own placeholders and like email and name. So let's get back to where we were. The form response. So these things come to this form. I create the date, and that is the fiscal date. And this is some of the interesting stuff you can do with PHP. This is a text file. This is not a date file. So you enter it. Oops, hold on, I'm going to mess myself up here. So you enter it like this. This would be year. A capital F is month, and a lowercase d is the actual date, as far as 0 through or 1 through 31, depending on which month you're talking about. This little thing right here is very important. If you were to use a single quote or double quote or apostrophe in your entry, for instance, if you put something like isn't, your PHP does not know what that apostrophe means right there. It has no idea. And what it thinks it is the end of your statement. And that leaves this hanging off the end. That will cause you problems. So you have to add slashes in order for it to come out exactly as you put it in. Keep that in mind. There are 2 or 3 of those things that you have to do on a regular basis. So now we have all these things with the slashes added. And then we're going to do this. This is a SQL statement, which is we're going to add it to the database or insert it into the contact form info, which is the table that we made in the beginning. We have 5 things here. We have the name, email address, message sent, the date, and like I say, I took note 1 and changed it to status, and this will allow me to turn this off and on. Later, we could also put a button on there. If you want that, then let me know if you want to see how that works. We can continually add to this with no problem. So the status, and in this case I feed it an actual thing for the status, alive. Everything that goes in there has to be alive, or else you'll never see it. So in the end, believe it or not, this is specifically so the user can see these things. Not for me, it doesn't help me at all, but if you can't see what was sent to you, it really does do you a lot of good. In this one here, this is your results, and it says run this query with this connection up here, and you run this query on this value, which is this value right there. And now it's done. Down here, some real basic HTML. There's nothing to it. I have no idea why I got a big space down here. It's kind of irritating, but whatever. And then JavaScript. This will actually function automatically. This piece of JavaScript. How PHP works is it's going to try and do all this before you ever even get the page. It's not even going to send it to you. So once it puts the page together, and then it says, oh, this is the part from here on down that you get to see. And part of that is a JavaScript right here that says, hey, my document location is actually where I want to go back is examples page.php. And now it functions and it returns to the examples page. That's all there is to it. There's nothing exciting. This is the PHP. You can see it's very small and it's very powerful. It's working with the database and working with this particular table in that database. You do have to be a part of that to make something like this work. Part of this I'm going to disconnect and stop from functioning for the obvious reasons, but for the most part, that's the whole thing. And if you have problems or questions, give me a holler, let me know. So we're going to send this to a form response, and it went through everything we just described, and it pushed it out right here. Ta-da! So that's all there is to it. So you can do more. We can add to the messages. We can change the email. We could delete them. We have to add buttons to it to do that. Let me know if you're interested in that, and we can go one step further. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Otherwise, just drop me an email if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.